I want to tell you a story about when I was a kid. It's probably about 11, maybe 12 years old, when one day our dad brought us a little go-kart home. The go-kart wasn't anything in what I was expecting to see in a go-kart. It had small tires, wobbly, little motor on the back end. But we took that go-kart and we ran and ran and ran it. We ran it so much that I thought I needed to tweak the engine a little bit. So the explorer that I am and the fixer that I thought I was, I took the carburetor off the go-kart engine. And I tore that carburetor apart and had parts all laying across the floor. I never expected a carburetor to have that many parts, especially in a small engine like that, but it did. And there I was with this carburetor tore apart, all scattered on the floor. So I put it back together and it leaked gas really bad. And I thought, well, now what am I gonna do? I can't drive it with it leaking gas. The kid that I was, I thought, I'm gonna go ask Dad to come out here and show me how to put this back together. I thought it was a good idea. My brother Mike and my friend Andy thought it was a good idea. So I went in the house and I said, Dad, I can't get my go-kart back together. Can you come and help me fix it? I said, what'd you do? Well, I took the carburetor off the motor and was gonna fix it. He looked at me, anger, immediately. He started yelling and carrying on. And my brother and my friend must have heard that, because when we got out to the carburetor, they were gone. They were hiding in the hayloft or in somewhere in the building. And there I stood, petrified, as my dad taught me words that I didn't even know existed, that I try not to use today. He yelled at me, and one of the things he said was, Marvin, not even the best mechanics in the world will tear a carburetor apart. And that stuck with me to this day. Not even the best mechanics in the world would tear a carburetor apart. He didn't know at the time that my oldest son would grow up and be one of the best mechanics in the county. He didn't realize that I would someday have a son that would fly big commercial airline planes all over the country and abroad. He didn't realize that someday I would have a son that would work at Eli Lilly in Indianapolis as a analytic chemist. But there I was, and I stood, and he yelled at me, and he yelled at me. We finally got that carburetor back together, and to this day we talk about how I should never tear a carburetor apart. My brother and my friend Andy, as I took that tongue lashing, hit in the haymow and heard it all. They didn't forget either. But I sit here today to tell you that my dad did me a favor. He taught me one thing, and that's that I can fix a carburetor, and I can fix stuff when I tear it apart if I want to. I have the passion and determination to do things that I've been told that I can't do. I can't say that any kid that age should be talked to by a parent like that. Back then, times were different, and I'm not so sure that that difference wasn't for the better. I learned that I can fix things over the years. That didn't deter me from continuing to try to this day. So that tongue lashing that I took from my dad, even though we kid and joke about it till this day, my brother Mike, my friend Andy, around the coffee table would say, Marvin, you know you shouldn't mess with carburetors. But I do. I look at projects and I do projects. Even though I don't know how I'm going to complete it, or tear it apart, or even put it back together, or even if it'll work when I get it back together. Point of this story isn't about me, it's about you, the one that's listening. My grandkids and their kids, and my friends and my family. Never give up. You can do it. Can things be fixed? Sure they can. Can you fix it? Yes, you can. Accept the challenge and you have the determination, you definitely will get the results. And even if you don't, you've learned something. I have over the years, and so can you. Marvin Schwartz, can it be fixed? Yes, it can, and it will be. Appreciate you. Thank you for listening to my story. Someday, when you watch this, I hope that you'll remember that even though life will beat you down, you can get up and you can put one foot in front of the other and you can move forward. And until the next time, when I say, I want to tell you a story when I was a kid.